Hello, I'm Craig Wolf. Perhaps you remember me as the man who brought you the news the past 2 decades. Well, now I'm switching gears, exploring the awesome Florida lifestyle. As your host of Florida Explorer, before Randy Wayne White was a famous author, he was a fishing guide in the waters right here behind me. As host of Doc Ford's annual tarpon tournament, it's clear that he's still an ardent sportsman with a passion for the Silver King.
What is it like to hook a tarpon? Imagine you're in some elevated place and you cast your fishing line into a busy freeway and you hook a Kawasaki that's speeding by, and the Kawasaki jumps and tail walks and reflects incredible tropical colors from its scales, and there is an intimacy in that link between you, the fishing line, and this ancient creature that is indeed intimate. You feel every vibration through the line. You feel the tarpon turn, every turn of its head. As the tarpon's about to jump, you can see the line rising, and just this rocket ship appears. It's a thrill. This is Doc Ford's second annual tarpon tournament. It'll be the biggest and best, I believe. We're booked up in terms of the number of boats we allow. And they'll come from all over the place. It's for a wonderful cause. Every cent that this tournament makes will go to support Ding Darling Sanctuary on Sanibel or to the winning boats. It's something that's fun for us to do at Doc Ford's. We don't make any money unless people buy a lot of drinks, and buy gum, we hope they do. But no, it's a wonderful cause.
It's all catch and release. You're not allowed to bring the fish on board at all.
It's the honor system. I mean, this really goes back to the traditions of sports fishing. It's the honor system. People in the boats will take photographs of the tarpon they've caught and release them.
Years ago, the tarpon fishing, they would actually bring the fish back for the weigh-in, and then they'd just throw them away, and tarpon were being just slaughtered by the thousands.
We're devoted to the safe release, safe handling of tarpon. We will supply DNA sampling kits to all the anglers.
You take a little sponge and rub it on their lip and their mouth.
We send it back to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. Biologists can then track these tarpon. So it's really a mix of sport fishing and science.
They're throwing the nets around the pilings out here to try to get live bait, preferably the thread fins.
Sunday night, mostly clear until midnight.
I got no weather on here now. They just said outside here we got 9-foot waves. Yeah, the weather right now is less than ideal. It's very windy. It's harder to see the fish. They may be here, but you're not going to see them when the water's so rough like this.
We are intimately tied with the tarpon, we being Southwest Florida. The first tarpon ever landed on rod and reel was caught by a gentleman named W.H. Woods. It was in 1885. Landed it in Tarpon Bay on Sanibel, where I was a fishing guide for more than 13 years. When that first tarpon was caught, it changed not just the history of Southwest Florida, it changed the destiny of Southwest Florida. The West Coast was an outpost, but when that first tarpon was caught, it made headlines in the London Times. The news spread around the world. The first big game fish you could catch from a rowboat. Remember, it was before combustible engines were commonly used in boats. Instead of going to Palm Beach, for instance, A gentleman named Baron Collier came to Southwest Florida, Collier County. He bought Usep Island. The people who followed, the Vanderbilts, the De Beers. Because of the tarpon, the Charlotte and Northern Railroad extended its railroad line to Boca Grande. It changed the economy and the destiny of this coast. Hotels were built. Towns grew up around those hotels. Teddy Roosevelt loved Captiva. He came here. Thomas Edison, who might well have built his lab in the East Coast, came to Fort Myers. Why? He wanted to catch a tarpon, and he did. Henry Ford came here. Firestone came here. Marilyn Monroe, Mae West, Clark Gable fished in Henry Creek for tarpon. They came here for one reason, to catch a tarpon. It's amazing. It is economically an extraordinarily valuable resource in this area, and aesthetically, it contributes a great deal to who and what we are in Southwest Florida. If this tournament has a mission, it is one, promote the safe handling and the preservation of tarpon, educate people to the subtleties and the extraordinary fun of tarpon. The tarpon is an incredibly archaic, ancient species, a successful species, and in my opinion, one of the most beautiful animals on Earth.
If you want a fantastic meal with a spectacular water view, a piece of custom-made artwork commemorating your vacation, or just a jumping-off point to explore the area's waterways, Naples' eclectic Tin City is just the place for you.
Looking for an excursion that's brimming with old Florida charm? Visit Naples' Tin City. Here, shopping, dining, and exploring are all unique Florida experiences.
Hey folks, I'm Captain Harry with Pure Naples, docked here at historic Tin City in downtown Naples. You got jet skis, boat rentals, fishing charters, sightseeing tours, New Zealand-style jet boats, a little bit of something for everyone.
You can start your day with a nod to Tin City's nautical past. Board the Lady Brett for a deep-sea fishing adventure.
I'm thinking about maybe going out a little bit farther than we normally do and try to find some bigger fish for us today, guys. Be a little chop out there. It should be 1 or 2 foot. It should be kind of ideal for fishing, really.
Whoa, that's a big one.
Wow. Come on, baby. There you go. All right.
Customers, they go out, they get to come back with some fresh catch. The crew takes care of their fish once they get back, which is what I'm doing now. You don't want to have to deal with the process of filleting the fish. Just come see us here at Pure Naples. That's what we end up with. They're going to take it right in the restaurant, so I'm not going to ice it down for them, because they're going to take it right in there and hand it to the chef, and they're going to prepare it however they desire.
Whether you've caught your own lunch or are just stopping in for a bite, Tin City offers waterfront dining at its finest. When you're done with your meal, you can find a serious selection of sweets just around the corner. Clothing, collectibles, and curiosities make shopping and browsing fun for the whole family at Tin City. You can even have a unique memento tailor-made to commemorate your visit. At Docks by Jen,
I am a three-dimensional artist. I create dock scenes out of crab traps and driftwood. The more barnacles, the better, just nice rustic wood. Tear them apart, create like a three-dimensional dock scene or wharf scene. I can do a personalized dock, say for the Campbell family. I'll do the Campbell's Cove and kind of personalize and put their favorite, maybe their past addresses, whatever is important to them. We call it the River of Life, so all the different docks you've tied up to along the River of Life.
rich in history and abounding with old Florida charm, Naples' Tin City is a fun excursion for locals and visitors alike.
Thank you for riding a little sunshine. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, ladies.
Come on down to Tin City. We're waiting for you.
If you like fresh fish, it doesn't get any fresher than at Peace River Seafood. Allied with local crabbers and fishermen, Kelly Beal and her crew serve up the day's catch with flavor, both literally and figuratively.
We are off the beaten path. A friend of mine recently said a word to me which I was not familiar with, and it was destination dining. And I'm like, wow, destination dining? What do you mean by that? And he said, your fish house is a place where people come to see it, come to eat. It's destination dining.
Okay guys, this is our famous smoked mullet. I like to take it and put it on a cracker and eat it that way, perhaps with a little cocktail sauce or hot sauce. It's up to you. Bon appetit.
Less than an hour ago, crabbers pulled this little guy from a wire trap in the middle of Charlotte Harbor. In less than 20 minutes, he's gonna be steamed and red hot on my plate.
Sounds great, Shell. But this little guy is actually quite a large lady. You can tell by the purse that's on her belly, and then by her red claws. The males don't have red on their claws, so we like to say that the females wear the lipstick. Nothing tastes better than fish that was just filleted right then and served right then. And when people come here, they know that they're gonna eat something that was recently swimming that day. Well, this is where the crabbers go ahead and unload their boat. They just back up the trailer, and then we unload the crabs and weigh them right here, and they go right into the crab room.
74.
We're gonna buy what's here from our local fishermen, and we take a lot of pride in that. Let's see. Oh, those are gorgeous, gorgeous. Good deal. We have 17 crabbers and fishermen that we keep in business.
The swinging knot.
So did you guys slay him today?
Oh man, we're making so much money. Kelly, we're going in partners with them.
Right in front of the restaurant, we have a fresh fish case.
We have various stuff coming out of the Gulf waters, Atlantic waters, local rivers, and harbor and whatnot.
People from Maryland, it's part of their culture, the blue crabs, so they are just flocked here. So the rule is, you're from Maryland and you come into Peace River Seafood and tell me you're from Maryland, you have to write your name down, where you're from in Maryland, and put your dollar on the wall, and my walls are covered. We are by far most known for blue crab. Eating blue crab,
Yay!
isn't the same without some newspaper down. So, you need a hammer. This is gonna be for our shells. All right.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Can't wait to try it.
Put some muscle into it. There you go.
There we have it.
Whack. You're gonna get dirty. It slides right out when it's perfectly cooked. If you steam it for 13 minutes, not boil, steam, 13 minutes makes it come out like this. Just cooked to perfection. It's a great thing to sit down and pound down some spicy crabs, drink cold beer, and hang out with your best friend and tell tall tales. And that really is what our restaurant's all about.
Wow. What a feast. What a treat. Just caught seafood in a 1920s cracker shack. The true old Florida, it's right here.
Nature photographer John Brady has a passion for capturing the big picture. Armed with his large format camera, he treks into the wild, truly immersing himself in the scene. Today, we join him in the Big Cypress Preserve.
When I'm in my office in the swamp, it's a total escape. It's exciting. I'd like to tell people it's full contact photography. I'm in the scene. Typically, my images involve water, and I like the perspective of being in the water to make my images. My name is John Brady, and I'm a landscape photographer. All right, well, these are some of my Florida images, and this one's one of my favorite. This is called the Fish Eating Creek. And Fish Eating Creek has a lot of things that I really like. You know, one, it has water. Two, it has beautiful old cypress trees growing along the edges of the water, and in some cases in the water. And then it also has some of these beautiful live oaks.
You know, the scale of this picture is so amazing, and also the detail. From where I'm standing right now, I feel like I could be sitting on the other side of the bank of this river here.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I'm there.
Well, one of the things that I try to do with my images is to help the viewer do just that, to feel like they are there.
After being awed by John's images, I was eager to meet him in the field and see what it really takes to capture his pristine landscapes. I had discovered he really does become immersed in the scene.
Hey,
John, how are you, man?
Good morning. Good to see you. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. You picked a really good day.
Oh, man.
I like what I see.
We're going to have a good one. Sun's coming up. Beautiful day.
We're out in the Big Cypress Preserve this morning. The Big Cypress is the western part of the Everglades. It encompasses a big chunk of Collier County.
Why do you come out here? What is it about this place?
We only have one Everglades, and we have to preserve it and protect it. And I'm hoping that the beauty of these images help inspire people to do just that. Watch your step out here.
So what is this down here?
This is the remains of the old tram trail. The loggers built this trail. They used it to haul their logs in. Logging was a big part of the history back here in the Big Cypress, and unfortunately we've lost a lot of the old mature cypress trees because the loggers got them. Cypress is a very hard wood, and unfortunately it was such a great wood, it was desired. I mean, for example, these old tram tracks are underwater most of the time in the summer, and they're solid as a rock still. The cypress tree really withstands rot and decay.
So the terrain kind of changes a little bit here.
Yeah, the terrain's constantly changing. If you look out here in the distance, you can start to see the shape of the cypress dome. Here in the Big Cypress, one of the unique features is some of the dwarf cypress. There's a dwarf with some character. The main reason why they become dwarf cypress are the growing conditions. If the nutrients aren't available for them to grow into a large, huge cypress, they're going to stay dwarfed, and I like to think of them almost like a bonsai tree. You can see as we start to approach the dome, the habitat's changed. Now we're into a little bit more of a dense forest area. Trees are still a little bit lower though. But up ahead, we're going to get into the taller cypress. We're going to leave the poor nutrient area and get into a more rich nutrient area and a wetter area. Each step you take, you'll see changes. You'll see changes in the plants. You'll see changes in the trees, and it's an exciting place. Well, now we're getting into the dome. And you can tell we're in the dome by the water we're standing in. You can see one of the things that we're starting to get into now are all the bromeliads in the trees, the air plants, and again, another change in the environment as we move forward. That's one of the deepest spots in the dome, straight out there. I know if I was a big gator, that's probably where I'd be right now. But we're not going to walk out there.
What is it that you're looking for when you're in here?
I look for somewhat open areas, maybe some interesting trees, a place where the light looks like it's just perfect. Wait till I'm inspired. This is my 8x10 wooden view camera. The view camera has no electronics. We focus everything with the bellows, and all the focusing is done through the back of the camera on the ground glass. Another neat aspect of the view camera is without moving the camera, we're able to raise and lower the lens. And essentially that's like pointing the camera up and down to take a photograph. It doesn't change the perspective, but it allows us either to get more foreground in or more treetops in, depending on what we need to do. All right, I'm gonna put my dark cloth on so I can see what's happening with this image. When I go under this dark cloth, the rest of the world goes away. It's a nice safe place. You know, people ask me why I work with a wooden view camera, because it's, you know, it's old-fashioned, it's slower, it's an old technology, but using a camera like this, it forces me to really slow down. For me, it connects me with the landscape, it connects me with the place that I'm at. And once I'm set, everything's set up, I'm ready to take a picture, then I wait. I wait for the light, I wait for the wind, I wait for everything to be just perfect, and some days it doesn't become perfect, but just being out in the field and being out here in the nature and the solitude, it makes it all worthwhile in itself. If you get a great picture, that's a bonus. And my meter's telling me that we're looking for something around 4 seconds. And I'm probably going to add a couple seconds to that for something called reciprocity loss. With 6 seconds, I can usually just count it off. And that'll do it. We've just made an image. And now we can pull it back out into the light.
Today, John and I both enjoyed Florida's serenity, and John got a bonus. Another stunning landscape. Long live the Big Cypress.
Wine Spectator magazine has dubbed the Naples Winter Wine Festival as one of the nation's top charity events, and with good reasons. Philanthropists from around the world bid top dollar on dazzling auction packages where wine is often just the beginning. I'm standing here on 5th Avenue South in the heart of beautiful Naples, Florida, home of upscale boutiques and restaurants, luxury cars and yachts, 5-star resorts and hotels, and waterfront mansions. It's easy to think of this area as a playground for the elite. But just a few miles away, it's an entirely different story. Like here in Immokalee, where nearly 40% of the people live below the poverty line. Few places have such a short distance and great divide between the wealthy and the underprivileged as Collier County. Once a year, the Naples Winter Wine Festival reaches across this divide with one charitable mega auction.
It is recognized as the largest charity wine festival in the world since 2004. Done right here in Naples, Florida. We raise the money for Collier County kids. We've had an effect on maybe 150,000 lives to date, they tell me. We've given away $107 million in the last 12 years. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And it really has real effects.
Local Collier County programs dedicated to improving the physical, emotional, and educational lives of underprivileged and at-risk children are the recipients of the auction's proceeds, which are distributed through the festival's foundation. The Naples Children and Education Foundation represents at-risk kids here in Collier County, everything from healthcare to education, family services to recreation. Today's the day that patrons, the people behind the Naples Winter Wine Festival, get to meet the children, like Sean.
We were thrilled to get involved, and one of the things that got us involved is this day right here, is Meet the Kids Day, where you go around and you meet these children, find out the needs. It breaks your heart to hear some of the stories that you'll hear.
This is my life. I will make it, and I will succeed. I thank you all for coming. Not hearing with your ears, but listening with your hearts. Thank you once again. God bless.
Ranked among the top arts and entertainment events for wealthy Americans by Wine Spectator, this 3-day gala brings together the world's finest vintners and chefs with wine collectors and philanthropists for this unrivaled charitable auction.
There is all kinds of special things that you can't buy anywhere else in the world that be here under the tent.
This is unlike anything I've handled before. This is a beautifully staged, beautifully crafted event. It's a work of art.
A work of art, the backdrop of which is fine wine and fabulous food.
So we have a hazelnut brown butter cake here.
Up for bidding, 64 packages known as lots, featuring some of the world's finest wines and much more.
Wine isn't the be-all and end-all, but it's absolutely it's the nucleus of the majority of the lots. There'll be elements of travel and private jets and boats, which all have a fantastic, can't be bought anywhere else factor about them.
We have what I call fabulous Italian metal on the lawn. In a two-door fashion, we have the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. It's the fastest Ferrari ever, 730 horsepower.
Fanfare signals it's time for the auction to begin. The price tag for the privilege of bidding, a mere $8,500. Lasting nearly 5 hours, the auction features fierce but good-natured bidding among the patrons.
$110,000. All right, no, 120 now. 120. 120.
Often, patrons bid far above top dollar for the lots, knowing the good the proceeds will bring.
This is our first time at the Naples Wine Festival, and we wanted to come and experience it.
And especially when we met the children on the first day on Friday, it was just very moving, very emotional, and it's all worth it.
After the auction ends, the festivities go on into the night. But long after the party's over, the generosity of the festival's patrons is felt by our at-risk and underprivileged children. Their hope burns bright. That's all for now, but join us next time. We'll explore more.